Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros. This is Leading Off, brought to you by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. It's me, Joey P. Joe Pisapia with you is the Welsh, as always, and it's you. It's a fun Friday. We got the All-Star break looming, a few more games to hit up, some good ones as well. We had a pitcher's duel last night in San Francisco that was certainly fun, and we have our Home Run Derby participants, and I am remiss. I said we would get to how we're doing the Home Run Derby contest thing, and then I forgot to do it because I'm old and I'm senile. And Welsh, I think it's time to start me on some of that special medication.
I was going to ask, because the first thing out the top, what are we doing? Are we drafting? And it's gone.
And it's gone. So here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to do this right at the top of the show so I don't forget. So here is what the Wonky Penguin put together for us. I put it in the show sheet so I wouldn't forget again. So here's what's going to happen. Everybody's going to select who they think will win and who they think will finish second. So you pick your one and your two finishers. So you pick your finals. I think these two people in the final, this person is the home run champ. Then everybody predicts a total number of home runs for the entire contest as a whole. Anyone who picks the winner gets 1 point. If you pick the winner and the runner-up person in the correct order, you get 2 points. And whoever picks the correct first and second place hitters and is the closest to the total number gets 3 points. So we're doing it on a sliding scale. Does that make sense? Did I lay it out well, or is it too complicated?
As clear as mud. I think we're good.
So I failed. So
no. I think I got it. You get 3 points if you get.
Pick. So if it's Soto, if I think it's Soto and Julio at the end, then Soto and Julio are my 1s and 2 picks. If I'm right, I get a point for each of those things. And if I get the highest total with those right guys, then I get 3 points. So it's basically like a sliding scale of points. I think it's fun. If you have questions, hit up Wonky Penguin on Discord. She's running it. So I'm just passing the buck.
Easy enough. And what do we do? Do we do it in the home run room, home run call room?
I believe we do it in the home run call room. I will make my
go. There's a tag right there. The Wonky just put the tag in the chat. It's 1 and then the HR call tag for all 3.
There you go. Use 1 HR call tag for all 3 in the order. So you put the name. So the first name you think is first, the second name you think is second, and then the number, I guess, is the next thing. So that's pretty easy, right, Wonky? Did I do it right? Did I do it right?
Maybe somebody, if you guys aren't checking out the Discord, maybe somebody could throw an example in there for the people that come in and want to put their picks in. Maybe someone could show exactly what their picks are so we could see how it works. But it's good stuff.
There you go. Wonky, if you want to give an example here, I could flash that so everybody sees it on the YouTube channel so they could check so they know how they're doing it. I'm sure she's already done this in the home run channel because she's running that ship. Speaking of running the ship, Corbin Burns, 10 strikeouts and a no decision against the Giants. Rodon with 7. I watched some of this game last night. I was actually awake, if you could believe it, which is really odd for me. It was very good. Very entertaining pitcher's duel. Tristan McKenzie struck out 12 guys. You know, McKenzie's had a really nice season, starting to develop into the pitcher you think he could be. The frame, I think, will always be a little bit of an issue. He's a little bit heavier than he was last year, but I know it hasn't been all roses with McKenzie, but have you liked what you've seen out of him more often than not? I think the answer is yes this year, right?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty big yes on that. Bogman and I were going through some gambling bets yesterday, and we were just all over this game with the strikeout prop and the first 5 and then the actual run line because, just beating up on the Tigers and McKenzie in general. McKenzie, 3.2 ERA after that performance, almost a 9K per 9. Little bit inflated left on base percentage, which you would like to see adjust. It's a little over 83%, but 100 innings on the year with 7 wins and not an insanely different ERA to xFIP. It's a great season. We're going to come in. He's going to be one of those guys next year who's going to be one of those, like 80 to 120 sleeper pitchers that we're betting on that's going to take the next big jump because he's taking the next big jump this year. So just exponential moves.
And here you go. This is what it looks like. ! HR-call. And she's got Pete Alonso, Juan Soto, 572, which actually sounds pretty good. I think I might just do that. And that's going to be pinned in that one. Yeah, I'm just going to steal that exact one. See how it goes. Sure, wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't it be hilarious? It's like dead on. And that was just the example one. I think I might do that just to be.
And everybody's got to make sure when you're doing it, make sure you pay attention to the bracket. So you're moving the right players. Just
yes, a little tip. You don't look at we'll talk about the bracket in a second. Shohei Ohtani reached base 3 times and the Angels lost. So what else is new? But he did move ahead of Aaron Judge in the MVP voting or should I say not voting in the MVP odds, pardon me, over on FanDuel. So there you go. That's very exciting. Carlos Carrasco, 6 scoreless innings against the Cubs. Luis Robert in a homer, drove in 5 runs. And our boy Max Meyer is going to make his MLB debut on Saturday. I just did a video yesterday morning saying, hey, go pick up this guy before he gets called up. It's too late. It's too late. The video hasn't even come out yet. So now it sounds like I'm like living in the past. But you know what? At the time, I was right. And he's still available in like 65% of leagues or something like that. I mean,
he's going to be plenty.
Pick this guy up.
Yeah, he hasn't gone and actually performed his start yet. I mean, Plays, if you're paying attention to prospects or you're consuming any fantasy baseball content, people are going to kind of be on it, but there doesn't mean there's a 50, 60% of an audience out there that isn't. And Meyer's a relatively unknown, actually a little bit better xFIP this year than his ERA, which is in the 3s, over 10K per 9, came back from the injury, has had some dominant performances with a couple spots, but we talked about it like early in the year. This is a guy that was going up against rehab starts of Ronald Acuna and Yohan Moncada and striking these guys out left and right. So as you know, I'm very, very excited about Max Meyer, and he was one of the big pickups. And this is one of the last obvious leaves to fall of the pickups that you need to do. I just did on my rank update, I do 25 prospects that haven't been called up to look for. And he's at the top of the list. And now it's like an open season of us just being surprised. Guys like Asturi are up. Now we just have to, maybe Corbin Carroll at some point. He's up at AAA hitting homers left and right. The pool is very, very different of prospects that are going to be coming up next.
Yeah. And look, Meyer, his only delay was because of the injury. It wasn't anything wrong or anything like that. It was just simply, the delay because of the injury.
And that's actually... He had a couple wonked starts, though, too.
I think that was because of the injury, don't you think? Like, it's kind of like he was favoring something, and it was like, okay, and it's all turns out he's on the IL.
Yeah, but it all kind of like accumulated to like this like month, overlay that kind of was into each other, because they're not going to bring him up if he was struggling, and then he just needed to get right after the injury. I think they gave him 1 or 2 starts after the injury, and now, boom, we're good to go. But I'm optimistic. Right. I'm very optimistic on really everything on him, but I'm not, I don't expect to see any props on him, as none of the books have been giving first-time rookies any numbers, just FYI.
And look, now the innings total is not as much of an issue too, because he's missed about a month. So now all of a sudden,
good point.
I'm not as concerned about the end of the year for Max Meyer. So like the investment I make in him is very important, because like now I'm like actually a little bit, if he's on the waiver wire, I'm more aggressive because he can actually help me in August and September as opposed to just August. The first pitch of the game from the Angels lefty Reed Detmers hit Jose Altuve on the left knee. He stayed in the game for a little while and then ended up coming out. So we'll keep an eye on that. We actually have a leading off mailbag question from our Discord channel that Wonky Penguin has asked. So she keeps asking every day, are we allowed to drop Jared Walsh yet? Welsh, are we allowed to drop Walsh? That's hard to say.
That could be like the bot. Like, those Twitter accounts, like, has Vinny Pasquantino been called up today? There should be a Twitter handle. Can we drop Jared Walsh
yet?
I think, like, sure. I mean, if you want like the overarching, sure, you could drop him. I would say there's context to a lot of stuff out there. He's hitting 240, 13 homers, 41 RBI. That's not the worst thing in the world. There are worse players being rostered. The K percentage has gone over 30. He is not walking second lowest walk percentage of his career, which I'm worried about. But yeah, I think in like 10 and 12 man leagues, there are probably other serviceable assets that are sitting around. You could maybe take shots. You could have taken a shot at like a Vinny Pasquantino. I bet there was somebody that had that exact decision of like, ooh, I want to pick up Vinny, but the only droppable person I have is Walsh, and I don't want to give up. So I think he's in that space. If you hold on, I think you could still get 25 homers out of him. He could have a little bit of pickup. I think the team in general could have a rally around in the second half, but I would be okay if you needed to. And don't look at his batting average in July, please.
Yeah, 0.081 BA in July. So has not been good. And I'm waiting for Jared Walsh to then end up on another team and become like CJ Cron, where it just hasn't really, it's like, oh, look at that. Oh, look, he's a good player. No kidding. So the Angels do bring up these guys, and then they don't perform until they think, and then all of a sudden they're gone somewhere else and they blossom. Something's weird in the water there in Anaheim. I don't know what it is. But something's definitely strange in the water for Baltimore and Seattle. Baltimore up to their highest mark since 1999 in terms of win streaks. And then the Mariners are up to their 11th straight win as well. Just crazy what these two teams are doing. And we know baseball is a game of streaks. Now, I don't think any of us think the Orioles are a playoff team, but Seattle right now is in the thick of the wild card. Do you think this is a team that can hang in it the way they're currently structured, especially in the rotation?
I think they got to make moves. I mean, we've
I do
talked
too.
about that a ton. They got to make. I think they need to bring on a move or two. That's why I think you asked me when we were talking about the Luis Castillo trade rumors a week or so ago. My number one of who should was the Mariners. They should be the active ones. They've got the pieces. They should go out and they should try to build up on this team. The difference between, for better for worse, between the Mariners and the Orioles have this plethora of young talent that they could obviously trade from, but B, they could bring up. They've done a really good job of like slowly bringing up the young guys. Adley's doing really well. You got DL Hall, you got Gunnar Henderson. You could have an influx from that space. So something you could potentially think about, maybe bring in one more veteran bat. If you want to trade for bullpen, I think that's always the best place to go if you can't get starting pitchers. But you got DL Hall that can come up. You got Gunnar Henderson to be an influx of, just one of those really positive young bats to come in. Mariners don't really have that. I don't think. Mariners at this point, they've kind of, they have Kelnick. If that's going to work,
well,
I don't know. Both should be more active in the trade market, and I think they should start now, because the worst thing you can do is try to be competing against teams like the Dodgers and the Yankees around the trade deadline. So you should be active at this moment.
All right, here's the home run derby set up right here. Pete Alonso is plus 200 to win. Kyle Schwarber plus 250. Soto at plus 5. That's where my money's going. Ronald Acuna at plus 600. Julio is at 10 to 1. Jose Ramirez 12 to 1. Corey Seager 12. Pujols 20 to 1. I would not bet on Pujols because it's so hard for, the physical demand of the time limit is very difficult on the older player. As far as I think it's pretty simple for me. It's Julio's my favorite long shot. Soto's my favorite of the three. That's how I would approach this, putting money on things. How would you approach this?
Who is your favorite? Soto
at 5 to 1, because I'm going to make more money on it. And to me, he's just as good of a shot as Alonso or Schwarber.
That's a really, do we
make twice as much money on the same investment?
Should we get into looking at park factors for lefties versus righties in this one? Something to consider.
It's batting practice speed, so I don't know how much that matters.
When I look at this, like the homer in me wants to take Julio Rodriguez at 1,000 to 1. Your middle line safe bet, like you said, it's probably Soto. But Pete Alonso, I think, is ultimately the bet. If I had to, I probably unveiling what I'm going to have in a home run contest, I suppose. But I think it's hard to bet against Soto. Maybe park factors come in. I'm surprised to see Schwarber at almost even money with Alonso, double where Soto is right now. That's really, really interesting. But me personally, I've eliminated the 3 long shots at the bottom if I'm making my choice on the bet.
Corey Seager would be hilarious winner, right? Go back to Dodger Stadium and win, right? Wouldn't that be like, that would be the story, right?
Good storyline.
Corey Seager holding up the thing there. It's his old ballpark.
If there's somebody that knows how to manage that ballpark, for sure, that is something I hadn't even thought about or considered. Yep. This is one of those things.
The biggest thing I thought about when I saw him was like, oh, that's really interesting, because that's a guy who's very familiar with the batter's eye, quote unquote, in that area more than anybody else in this contest. That's kind of interesting to me.
Would you consider doing multi bets on this if you were going to place it? Like, are you like a one better for the home run derby, or do you go, I'd take like
50
3
bucks.
guys?
Okay. Yeah, I would take $50 and I would put like 10 on the biggest long shot, and then
maybe one on the favorite,
one on the
put
favorite,
a little bit more.
You do that kind of thing. Like, again, I'm using a multiple. If you want to put 100 on it, then it's much easier to spread it around. But in terms of percentages, if I was at $100 to spend on the derby and I wanted to have some fun, I would put 50% on the guy that I thought was really my guy.
Yeah,
like
that's
Soto.
what I was gonna say.
And then I would take the last 50 and do 30-20 over.
Yeah, I was gonna say I might do something like if I had 150 on Alonso, maybe 25 on Soto and 25 on Julio, something along those lines to play around with.
Yeah, but you got to see. That's the thing is, like, to make that work, you've got to put it on one of the long shots. That's
Julio's 10 to 1.
Julio's at 10 to 1, and Corey Seager's at 12 to 1. Like, I kind of think Soto, Julio, Seager is the most intriguing from the betting perspective. Like, that would be the trio I would be looking at. I don't know. The more I might talk myself into the Corey Seager thing by the end of this show. Who knows?
Sounds like you have. It sounds like you have.
I haven't yet. Still mulling. All right, this day in baseball. Here you go. 28 years ago today, Albert Bell's cork bat was confiscated by umpires, and so began the greatest MLB heist in history, where Jason Grimsley climbed through the ceiling of the Tribe clubhouse into the umpire's room, stole the cork bat, and replaced it with Paul Sorrento's bat, which happened to be stamped with Paul Sorrento's name. So that did not work out very well.
I don't remember this.
I remember this.
I don't.
I remember this very well. Hilarious. And once again, in an era where we don't have social media, imagine the Jason Grimsley crawl, like Die Hard, crawling through the air shaft, John McClane style. He actually did this. He actually climbed through, got through the drop ceiling, switched the bat. But they did all that, but they didn't think, oh, wait, it's got Paul Sorrento's name on it. Probably not the bat.
He drops Sorrento's bat, gets up in there in the vent, puts his head back out in the vent and goes, yippee-ki-yay. And then that's a good bit. I like it.
It's so good. So good. All right, here's a good one, too. Who is the oldest player in the history of baseball to win the Rookie of the Year award? I thought we did the youngest MVP earlier this week, and that was fun. Who is the oldest player to win Rookie of the Year? I did not know the answer to this, so I have a guess. Full disclosure. Go ahead, take your. Well, you ruined it yesterday.
I ruined it yesterday. I know I ruined it yesterday immediately. I don't think mine's right because my as you just said that, I realized this might be something of an international player, and if it is, then I'm wrong. The player that jumped to my mind because I remember him being an older rookie was Ryan Howard with the Phillies.
It's not Ryan Howard.
Okay, that's not because I feel like it was like 26 or 27 or whatever. It's got to be an international guy, right? Someone that came over at like 30.
I'm not going to tell you if it is or it isn't. All I'm going to tell you is it's not Ryan Howard. There you go. So there you have it, folks. If you think you know the answer, drop it in the chat over FantasyPros MLB. Again, who's the oldest person to ever win Rookie of the Year in the major leagues? Here's your heroes from yesterday in the stat column. Corbin Burns, 10 Ks, 7 innings, 1 earned, no decision. Tyler Anderson, strong again, 6 scoreless innings, only 4 Ks, but still getting those quality starts. Braxton Garrett, 6 scoreless of his own. Luis Castillo, 7 innings and a very nice audition. 8 strikeouts, 4 walks, but he did go 7. And Tristan McKenzie with the 8 innings, 12 Ks. Luis Robert, 3 for 5 with a bomb. Brandon Nimmo, 3 for 4 with a home run. Sam Haggerty, 3 for 4 with a dinger. Andres Gimenez, 2 for 3 with a homer. Sebi Zavala, 2 for 5 with a homer. Matt Carpenter, Mayer got his home run for Matt Carpenter. Gross. Trent Grisham, Bobby Witt also had good days, also had homers. Andrew Vaughn, 2 for 5 with a dinger. And Gavin Lux, 2 for 5 with a dinger as well. I see a lot of Ichiro guesses in there. Ichiro is incorrect, just in case you are looking at that.
Yeah, wasn't Ichiro like 27 when he came over? And I feel like this is someone in their 30s.
It is. Ichiro was old, but Ichiro wasn't even the oldest Japanese player. If that gives you a little bit of an extra fun thing here to contemplate. So I thought Ichiro was where my head went immediately. It was not the answer to the question. So
because wasn't Ichiro 27 when he came over?
Not Jackie Robinson. Ichiro was 27, but there was older people than him, if you can believe it. So there you go. Also, who was 27 was I want to say it was Jose Abreu, was also around 26 or 20. He was 27 in 2014. Also not the oldest
Hideki
guy.
Matsui?
Nope, but it's not Hideki Matsui either. It's not Jackie Robinson at 28 years old. There was a Japanese import that was even older to win the Rookie of the Year, just as FYI. I'm not saying that's the answer. I'm just throwing that out there. And it wasn't Hideki Matsui. Here are the losers from yesterday. Sonny Gray, 6 earned runs. Marco Gonzalez, 5 earned runs. Blake Snell, 5 earned runs. Oh, Blake Snell, you
6 walks too.
6 walks. I mean, that's your vintage Blake Snell. This is why I never draft Blake Snell. It drives me crazy. Kyle Freeland, 4 innings, 5 earned. Riley Green, 0 for 4 with the 4 Ks. He had the golden sombrero, as did Brandon Marsh, 0 for 4 with the 4 Ks. Max Muncy, 0 for 4 with 3, batting just 158, 8 homers in 72 games. Rest of the season, Max Muncy or Jared Walsh? Walsh, who'd you rather have?
Ooh, Max Muncy has the lowest qualified BABIP of any player right now. But I think
it's hard.
Like anybody else? Like
anybody else. That's the right answer. Giancarlo Stanton, 0 for 5 with a K.
I don't have an answer. I literally legit do not have any. I could not answer that question for you because they're both so bad. The BABIP up on Muncy.
I would just say Muncy based on the fact he's on a better team. That's it.
Maybe.
That's it. And I don't even think that's a good answer. Luke Voigt, 0 for 4, 2 Ks. Jeter Downs, 0 for 2 Ks. Giancarlo Stanton, 0 for 5 with a strikeout. In case you were wondering, no, it's not Fernando Valenzuela. And it's not Hideo Nomo. Kasazaki, very good guess. He is older than Ichiro and did win this award. So that is an excellent guess, but you're all wrong. The name of the person is somebody from 1950. Sam Jethro from 1950 with the Boston Braves is the correct answer. This is a name that I never heard of. And I'm a pretty big dork when it comes to baseball history. Sam Jethro, who played in the Negro Leagues for a while, but then came up with Boston and then played a professional 18 seasons from 1938 to 1958, 50 to 58 in the major leagues. And then he also had 4 seasons in Major League Baseball, 8 in AAA, and 8 in the Negro Leagues. But he was older.
How old was he?
Kazazaki
Did you
was
say?
32. Sam
Oh.
Jethro was 33 years old.
Wow.
So there you go. I thought that was a fun, crazy fact. I thought it was Ichiro. And then I was like, oh, Kaz Matsui was older. Oh, Kaz Suzuki, rather. Nope. It was none of those guys. So there you go. So
Jethro.
Sam Jethro, a name that, once again, never heard. Jethro Tull, I know, but no Sam Jethro. Didn't know that. All right, let's get to the home run board today. And it's going to be depressing because Mike Mayer's got 29 now. Very depressing.
It's a great call on that Carpenter.
Yeah, Matt Carpenter. I give him credit on the Carpenter. That's for sure. High Cubby's still at the top of 35. Still plenty of time left, though. We got a bunch of people in the 28 to 32 range. So this bad boy ain't over yet. Welsh, I don't know if you've seen this, but I want to play this because this is something going around social media. So this is Finnish baseball. Do you see this? Check out this clip here of this guy. So apparently, again, we'll go over this here again, but apparently in Finland, they have their own style of baseball, which is a little bit different. And there's like a river with a camera. So there's like a river cam. So if you go and you miss it, well, there you go. Boop, boom. I'd like to add this into our Major League Baseball.
I think this is pretty solid.
Yeah,
no, I like obstacles in general. I think there should be
look at this.
Yeah,
it's
every
like
game there's an
elimination baseball challenge.
There's a trap door in the field that no one knows about. Maybe there's a trampoline. It's all hidden. So guys are moving around. Maybe someone flies up. Maybe there's some water. Maybe a moat.
Whoop!
I'm into moats.
There you go.
Wouldn't that be great? Remember the old Astros stadium that had the hill you would go up?
I love that.
What if there was grass, then a moat, and then more grass at the back side of that? That would be fun.
And to answer this is why you watch on the YouTube channels. You can watch this man diving and then falling off of a cliff basically into water. My cousin says he would play here in this. Of course he would. And why is there a camera there? Why? I'll tell you why. Because that's going to happen eventually.
That's
so you want to make sure you grab it. Here it is one more time because this is spectacular. Look at him go. He's trying to stop it. Nope, there he goes. Class right in there. That's tremendous. I love that.
Yeah,
that's good stuff right there. All right.
They should have some signs in the water, by the way. They're missing advertising in the water. There's something like a water filtration or a pool company.
The Splash Zone is brought to you by, I don't know, in Finland, what would it be brought to you by? Canned fish of something, I would imagine. Shout out to Tom Viola, our own Tommy V, for throwing that in the chat here with me today because I had seen it. He's like, hey, I can put it on StreamYard if you want. I said, yes, I do. They also play a wacky system of bases too, where the first base is not where our first base. It's a whole thing. Finnish baseball. It's lightning. Catch it in a bottle. All right, let's go to BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Bet $10, win $200 when you sign up today at BetMGM.com or the BetMGM app. Again, that promo code leading off, one word, bet $10, win $200. The Derby's around the corner. Make some wagers. By the way, also, Ohtani already passed. We said it. It's going to go away. There it is. You missed it. I hope you're on the journey with us. Aaron Judge is minus 107, 1.5 total bases against Boston. Giancarlo Stanton, 1.5 total bases, plus 130 against Boston tonight, which is fascinating. Robbie Ray strikeout total on FanDuel is at 6.5. I like the over on that one. Our projections have him at 8 tonight against the Texas Rangers, minus 140, still worth it. And minus 124 is the juice on Sandy Alcantara at the 6.5 on FanDuel's K's as well. Alcantara's been so good. Welsh, what have you looked at today that's got you excited for the prop market?
Yeah, I like that Stanton one. I also like that Robbie Ray one actually a lot more than I'm looking at it. Juiced up, but I still like it. 3 that I like. Xander Bogaerts, total bases 1.5 over. It is plus 146. Got a lifetime 15 for 33 versus Montgomery. And in 5 of his last games, he has multi-hit games, Mr. Xander Bogaerts does. Also, I believe 3 of his last 4, he's got a double in games. So very, very good matchup for him. You got Stanton. I got Judge. Judge, 1.5 total bases. Essentially even money, 105. And Kopech, who has struggled a tiny bit as of recent, 4.5 strikeouts versus Minnesota today. He struck out 5 and 7 in the 2 previous matchups versus Minnesota. I think there's an overall general worry about him and like the downtick in Ks, but this is a relatively good matchup. It's a low number for someone that has hit this twice before. So 5 Ks, Michael Kopech, Judge total bases, and Xander total bases. Those are my 3.
All right. Looking at the DFS slate tonight, To me, I got to be really careful because you got a full slate of games tonight. Robbie Ray is a really good investment at 9.8K over on DraftKings. Kershaw at 9.4, also good. Darvish is even cheaper. I would fade away from Woodruff at the 10-2 on the road. I think that's tough. Man, I'll take the L on Kevin Gausman last night. He pitched well, but they couldn't score any runs for him. It was so brutal against that joke of
The
a
B
Kansas City
squad.
lineup.
Yeah, the total B
Oh,
squad.
just a joke. So I'll double down with Manoah tonight too. So Manoah, Ray, and Kershaw is how I would go. And just try to do combinations of them. If you want to do a combination with Darvish against Arizona too, I think that's always advisable. So those four pitchers are the ones I would just hyper focus, try to get the right combination of those guys in cash. And I think I would just drop that same lineup in tournaments tonight because I think it tracks the same. On the FanDuel side, Alek Manoah is 9.6, a lot cheaper. He's $1,000 cheaper than Robbie Ray. So I'm just going to go to it and fade the rest of the guys because everybody else, if you want, you could do Ray, Kershaw, Darvish, Woodruff, just have a lineup that's going to give you about 10.7 left in it and just interchange those pitchers. If you're going to play multi-entry tonight, that's the approach. And you're going to have to do that tonight, I think, on the FanDuel side. So that's why I actually think DK is a little bit more user-friendly tonight in that sense. I'm going with Vlad Guerrero Jr., though, for my home run call over the weekend. So let's go. And then I'll make my official choices on Monday show for the home run derby. We'll save all that. And we'll do some fun stuff on Monday as well. Where are you going for your home run call this weekend here, Welsh?
I'm going to go with Judge. I'm going to go super lame and cheap, but great matchup, by the way, just career-wise against Nathan Eovaldi, who's returning from not pitching for over a month. So Aaron Judge, almost a 380 average against Eovaldi career-wise. Eovaldi's been out. I imagine he'll get some heavy strikeouts, but Judge takes advantage, and why not just take him into the weekend? Get me some homers. That's where I'm going.
There you go. Get us some homers. And Mayor took Mookie Betts. So we'll see how that goes.
Mooks.
So he's taking one of his Reds. So he made his little Matt Carpenter. Now he's going back up to the big guys. Now Mayor is in process of moving. So I don't know how that's going to affect his home run calls. So this is your opportunity, everybody, to go past Mayor these next few weeks. I want you to take advantage of this opportunity. On Monday, I'd love to come and talk about the futures game and some of those guys that you saw play. Some really good names in that game too. Who are you excited to see in the futures game, Walsh, play?
Oh, man. I mean, there's a litany of guys. Mason Wynn is one of my just favorite young prospects. You got Tovar, Ellie De La Cruz is out there. Corbin Carroll is going to be on view. I would tell you, though, Yuri Perez against this crew is one of the youngest players there, is going to be maybe one of the most exciting. Big 6'7" pitcher for the Marlins. He is theoretically going to be going up against some of the best in baseball, and that type of competition has me really excited. So I'm very excited about that. And the MLB draft, just want to remind you, is on Sunday. So Monday, as we come in, the first round will be over, and we got some interesting stuff that is being rumored around that the Orioles might not take the top player in the draft, and they might pass for some cash savings. So we'll see how that ends up affecting the entire draft on Sunday.
Monday's going to be a good show if you play Dynasty here, because we're gonna have a lot of that stuff and a lot of that coverage here for you between the futures game, between the MLB draft, which is going to be super fun, and it's always super fun here. So there you have it. Hope everybody enjoys their weekend, enjoys a little break too. You have a little fun All-Star festivities, everything going on there. So enjoy the families this weekend. Enjoy whatever you got going on with your friends, or enjoy the silence. It's just nice to have as well sometimes. That'll do for us, but the story of the game goes on. For the Welsh, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids. Watch out for the